Alright guys, good evening. Welcome to another little stream. Not quite, but almost late night. So I'm a bit earlier. Bit of an unusual day, but I think I could afford to do some 1 or 2 hours of streaming. And yeah, somehow I feel the urge to get back to my old love, DayZ. Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna stream U-Boat again as usual, but for now, let me do another little DayZ stream. I'm continuing the game that I started 2 days ago. So yesterday we did another game because this server was at night when I wanted to stream, and I never much like to do nighttime streaming. But now let's get back to this one here, which is a server called WILDLANDZ Deer Isle. And yeah, we are a bit in trouble. You see, meanwhile, we recovered to blood loss level yellow. And yesterday we were completely beaten up by a kind of magic. No, not yesterday. I mean, the last stream on this server here, we got beaten up by a, mad invincible zombie. So I hit it something like 20 times on the head. Then I fired 9mm rounds into the zombie's chest, and I think even 1 or 2 into the head. And it still didn't die, and finally I killed it with a few more hits on the head. So that was pretty eerie, and I just barely survived, and you see still see me suffering from that. My gear, well, not being in the best condition, particularly my shoes are in bad condition. That's why I picked up these flip-flops, just in case that my shoes might totally break. I think, let's see, this gun, I don't have any ammo for the CR. I have P1 rounds, and I do have, okay, somehow this doesn't work, don't get it, back. And that's not good if they kind of... Okay, see, I'm definitely lacking inventory space at the moment. So the question is, yeah, come on, let's drop the CR. Oh, I don't know, it's a nice gun, the CR is a nice gun, but how could I have handled it the days before? Definitely not having the inventory space to carry it. So come on, let's drop it. Keep the P1, it's a decent gun. And let's carry on. So guys, nice to have you in. Good evening. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I was just about starting to explain. I'm playing on a server which is called WILDLANDZ and it's Deer Isle, so there is a set of servers which I quite like. Because they have a very nice loadout of mods on it. That's the WILDLANDZ servers. And yeah, I'm playing on this set of... Ah, wow! A bear trap. Okay, shall we be an asshole? Yeah, come on, let's be an asshole. Hey Paul, good evening. Now you saw me placing that trap just behind the door. Yeah, come on. Finally the game is just fun, so please, nobody judge me for that one. By the way, there's a boat out there. Yeah, hi. Yeah, I didn't stream that late because I had to get up relatively early this morning, so I couldn't afford to stream all night. But yeah, great that you're in. And hey, 10 stream streak. Congratulations and thanks for being such a faithful watcher. A mushroom. Yeah, actually, all the mushrooms in the game are edible, except for when they are rotten. Yeah, please don't tell anybody, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, well, these kind of... I will stay to my ordinary streaming times, which is Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. And on these, I think I'm going to continue streaming U-Boat, but I, again, find some fun in returning to DayZ. So I am going to do a bit of DayZ. What else do we have here? More dried stuff. So not too bad. And well, I'm really considering to swim over and check whether this is whether the raft, the Zodiac, is actually in a condition to go with. Yeah, high probability that there are parts of the motor missing or that it's not refueled, but let's see. Yeah, I love the Deer Isle map and I love the Wildlands mod loadout. It's vanilla-like, so it's from all the game mechanics it's vanilla, only that you have more types of gear and loot that you can find. Alright, let me see if we can go. Can we start the engine? Okay, it doesn't work. There is something missing. A plug. What do you need? A glow plug? No, a spark plug. And I think I had a spark plug and I dropped it because I wanted to have the inventory space. Don't know what about the fuel, but yeah, without a plug, engine, cargo. Well, however, without a spark plug we can't go. So it was completely useless that we got ourselves wet. But now that I am once wet, of course, I could think about doing the swim to get over there. Let's do it. Come on, guys. That'll take a little while. Arsteinen, okay. Never heard of that map, to be honest. That's a long, long swim. So this is water hiking, what we are doing right now. Let's just hope that no player passes along on shore and spots us and starts to do some firing range training on us. Okay. Yeah, so it's nice. So probably somebody remodeled a real archipelago then, right? Yeah, I think Northern Europe, like Norway or Sweden, that's good background, good scenarios for DayZ. So, yeah, we are getting colder and colder. We are already totally cold. Don't quite remember, I think we don't have any vitamin pills, haven't we? I think the vitamin pills we found on the other server in the other game that we started yesterday. Okay, see, the moon is right ahead, is it? Yes. So does this mean that we are roughly, if the moon set, the setting moon is over there, it means that we are moving more or less east, right? I gotta check. We do have a compass. I think I can't check the compass while swimming. Yeah, because we are so cold, we are constantly losing health, but just rather slowly. Yeah, there are occasionally moving helicopters across the map. I observed that, and I also, saw it watching other streams, and so this is a particular feature of this set of mods on the Wildlands service. And the funny thing is, we observed already once, at least once, we observed a US type helicopter. Like this Bell UH whatsoever, and also observed a Russian type helicopter. Not quite sure, it might have been a Hind. If I remember right, the Hind is a gunship but also has carrying capacity to transport people. Okay, we hear something from the right. Let's just hope that this is only one of these helicopters. Up to now, I didn't find out what these helicopters actually do in the game. My guess is that they drop loot somewhere. What I thought that I've heard is that they actually crash somewhere, so that you have kind of real heli crashes with these incoming helis, but for these that I observed, there was no evidence of them. Ah, you hear this one? That was the sound of a crashing heli. And it must have been somewhere there. Not too far away, but pretty far away. It stayed completely out of reach, so I was philosophing about what the helis do. We just heard it. They crash. So right now, some heli crash was created somewhere. So here we are, getting pretty cold soon. So what I do first is, let's orient briefly. So, this is east, and we were coming from where? From over there. That's where we came from, right? Yep, so we were coming from east, and we were going to, west-northwest or something. And now, do the most important thing, getting the stuff. Ah, by the way, maybe we still have to do a little swim. No, we haven't. Let's stay here away, but in the hiding, so if there were zombies or players around that place, that they wouldn't spot us. And let's... Ah, that was it. You can't ring the vests. But let's ring the hiking jacket to get most of the water out. You cannot get it completely dry by wringing, but it always stays. After a while, it is damp. That's the best you can get. And what you see, this one is drenched, so this one got much more wet than the hiking jacket, because the hiking jacket is woven from some special material. Yeah, that I was also wondering already, and I just couldn't answer it. Sometimes see people fighting with tin, with a can of food in their hands, in the hope that it improves the hit points, but I am not sure if this actually works, if it does have any effect. Yes. If you use them as projectiles, deadly projectiles. So this stuff which is really wet, I have to wring even 3 times before it gets damp. And the hiking jacket I only had to wring once. So also the debuff in terms of heat protection is less bad for these here special clothings. So when your gear gets wet, its heat protection drops, and so for these special clothings like the hiking jacket, this drop is not as dramatic. But that's all that we can wring at the moment. And well, we are lucky. Yeah, it's lunchtime actually on the map, so it's relatively warm, and we got back to white in terms of temperature. By the way, I wanted to briefly check, do I have any pills, vitamin pills? No, I haven't. I do have matches, but of course they're damp now, but I could light a fire with the road flare. Do I have I don't have a sharpening stone. I have a badly damaged machete and a badly damaged steak knife, so they might soon get destroyed when I further use them. And I didn't find any whetstone, sharpening stone yet. That would be a great find right now. Because if I want to prepare some food, if I want to make a fire, I am gonna need a knife. So only if I would prepare a fire right now, that might be the end of at least one of my 2 knives. There is something. Okay, bomber jacket, high insulation. Well, I think I stick to the hiking jacket. Let's close the doors so that we don't run into any ugly surprises. Rifle, slugs, nice. Okay, so now I just need a shotgun. Some Zagorski bar. Let's pick it up. So I don't quite remember. I think it's good water in the canteen. I think I got it from a well. I'm pretty sure that I did. So, being around here, why not drinking it? I can carry it in my stomach as well as in my inventory. And yeah, my hydration is still not maxed out. My food, my nutrition seems to be maxed out, or almost maxed out, so at the moment I would not eat something because it might just be wasted. Oh, what's that? Sheet metal. Okay, I could start a fire here. My stuff is wet. But, well, why start a fire? I'm not freezing. So, I think I would just carry on. Let's check the car. Yes, about the Elvis, yeah. I think it's a quote from Men in Black, where they said something like, he just went to, I don't know where. It was actually the origin of my idea, this kind of quote from Men in Black about Elvis not having died, but just have gone away. Do I need more racks? I don't know. At the moment, creating racks would just be a kind of a waste of knife. Now that my knife could break down just any moment. Yeah, about sarcasm, irony, and making jokes. Sometimes feel that people get pretty, in German we would say thin-skinned. Don't quite know what the idiom would be in English, but maybe you know what I mean. Yeah, let me think. I do watch movies with my family pretty regularly, so actually I haven't been to the cinema for a very, very long time. Only, yeah, so if I do have any cineastic knowledge, it is from something like more than 10 years ago. And now and then I pick movies from that time and we watch them. And, well, meanwhile, we could also do some nice action movies. So what is this? What weird thing is this? So, give me a heading. A bearing, I mean. So that's pretty due north. Weird thingy. Let's ignore it for now and just carry on. Yeah, I started on that server at something like 11 or 11:30, and as it is having a time acceleration factor of 2, I think it should be even just before lunchtime by now, so this should be south. Let's check it. Nice to have a compass, very comfortable, so yeah. My fear is that I just did the swim to cross towards a very small and tiny and completely unremarkable island. Hey. Yeah, that's sometimes a bit weird, but I think there are also movies where in pretty great and well-known American World War II movies where they actually hired German actors to do the parts of something like German officers or something. Like Kurt Jürgens at that time. And yeah, well, who not? I don't remember the names, I have to admit. But sometimes they actually did it, and then they really had people speaking German in the movies. Yeah, that's right, they did it back then. Hey, Capital Cosmos, nice to have you in. A long time no see. Good evening, how are you doing? How was your week so far? What do we have there? Another knife, okay. That helps a bit. Having sufficient knives is always good. And mine are both badly damaged. Yeah, I remember the name, but to be honest, I don't quite remember the content. It's not that one where the guys flee from the prison camp, is it? Might have been some far away guess. Is it the one? It's so long ago that I watched that movie, but I remember that I was pretty much impressed. I really liked that movie, where they dig a tunnel and kind of get the sand. Well, they have to make sure that nobody recognizes that they're digging sand out of the earth and have to continuously distributing it over the camp. Is it? That's what I have in the back of my mind. Yeah, yep. Is it that Blackout movie with the aliens attacking? Well, the Blackout is only kind of the first phase of this kind of alien invasion. Are we talking about the same? Yeah, there are some movies which I watch together with my family, but there are other movies which I, just watch on my own when I have a, silent moment on my own. So, I really want to keep the sickle. Yeah, let's do it like that. And drop this. Did we have a battery in there? No, it's the GPS. Let's see if we had a battery. It would be a nice trick now to find our location. We have a map. Come on, let's keep the GPS. Maybe it would be intriguing. By the way, we could have a look at the map and see if we find out where we are. Yeah, right. And this is then kind of a Last Stand movie, and and there is Russian forces fighting, finally against an invasion. Alien invasion. Yeah, maybe I'm mixing it up. But I actually had watched such a movie. It was actually the one that it was not just a movie, it was something in a series, and I think it was 5 parts or something. So maybe another one than you have in mind. Yeah, what I've been watching lately when I was on my own was that Amazon series of Jack Ryan. So I've already watched the first 4 parts of it. So each part, each how do you call it? Each season has its own storyline. I quite liked it. What do we have here? Morphine? Well, who knows? By the way, our blood is regaining and we are back to white in terms of blood. Yeah, that Jack Ryan thingy. They say it was co-produced by Tom Clancy, actually. Well, I don't know. I mean, probably Tom Clancy just gets a lot of money for being mentioned. But nevertheless, I quite liked that movie or that series. No, I don't know. That would be curious. So what do they do there? Do they interview players or show clips or damaged? Well, come on. This one would give high insulation, low insulation. Okay. So what would you do? Shall we switch to this balaclava, which has better insulation? I mean, this one looks cooler, does it? Well, I don't know. Maybe this one looks cooler. Doesn't really make much of a difference, but these are the choices. The hard choices that you have to do in DayZ. This one is damaged as well. So then it's an easy choice. Yeah, this fighter really got my gear damaged, or put it the other way around. It's a wonder that my gear didn't get damaged worse. Yeah, might be. Yes, I thought I should kind of figure out where I am, right? I do have an idea. Let's check the map. So my first guess was that I was spawning on this one here, which is Spawn Island. It might really be a sea. It might be that this was exactly this area where we spawned. There were these cliffs and stuff. Fisherman's camp. I don't know, not quite sure. Ah, yes, okay. So, I guess this was this bottleneck with the military around here. That was this bottleneck, yeah. And I was heavily beaten up by that zombie, and then I went there, went up here, did some swimming. But not there. Probably not there. Maybe I followed the coast a bit further. And maybe I did the swimming here. So now I am very, very unsure. I was pretty sure that was here. But which was the stretch that I was swimming towards? Was I going for this one? Or was I going for this one? That would be just too bad. I don't know, maybe it was just one completely useless swim. Okay, bear. Yeah, I am not very... Yeah, that's an in-game map, exactly, yeah. Yeah, if I use an external map, I use I Survive, yeah. Yep, that's right. That's right, as long as I don't do teaming ups. I actually prefer to do the exploring thing, yeah. But I don't know, I'm so sure that I was here before. Come on, maybe I just swam over there. No, I'm on this one here. Or I did swim here to that coast. No, I don't know. I don't know, I really can't make it out. Although this is pretty kind of characteristic. So am I looking at... Maybe I was swimming over that stretch and I'm looking... I don't know. I don't know. Gut feeling tells me that I must be more somewhere here. But where do I have this configuration with this kind of peninsula? Well, yeah, don't know. Let's carry on. Let's just carry on. Maybe it gets clearer later. Lots of buildings over there. Let's stay up here so that we have a better overview. By the way, a few more people joining the stream. I just see it by the numbers going up. So great to have you in, guys. It's a pleasure. So, which direction am I moving at the moment? Pretty due west. Yeah, exactly. I think it's not work in progress. I think they just kind of decided that they couldn't make just any room accessible in the game. That's what I guess. Hi guys, good evening. Hope you're fine. How are you doing? How was your week? And what's your experience with this game? A budget option, yeah. That's, I think, what it is. And I could imagine that it's less programming effort to create a new building where all rooms are accessible than taking the existing footage and make these rooms accessible in the existing program buildings. I don't know, somehow this feels pretty eerie. I remember that place. That's nicely modeled, isn't it? Ooh, wow. A repeater. Now I have to make up my mind. Does it have ammo? No. And I don't have any proper 357 ammo, have I? No, definitely not. Yeah, it is. Hey, Holiday Punch. Long time no see. Nice to have you back in the stream. That's the Wild West style thingy, yeah. And this repeater thingy reminds me of, well, one of my favorite scenes on Terminator 2. Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger riding the bike and reloading the repeater with one hand with this awesome circular move. Get to the chopper. Yeah, that's here with the get to the chopper. Predator, right? Classic, yeah. So I have no ammo for that one, but what I wanted to check once more was the map. Where could I be? There's loads of building on the other side. Could it be that I was somewhere here? No. Or did I go here? No, also not well possible. It's these massive buildings. It must be here somehow. Sandy Bay. I don't know. Yeah, it must be this one. might it be that they have changed something and that the map is not 100% reliable anymore? I don't know. Pretty weird. So come on, we can't rely on the map. Well, that's always nice to have, but we are really running out of inventory space. So should I throw away the map? If I had a battery, I could use the GPS receiver, but no, let's drop this one. Then we have a bit of space left, like this. Just in case we find a battery, I actually would try the GPS receiver. Now, what would you say? I have this one for crossbow, and I have a few DIY crossbow bolts. I have the fishing rod, which is pretty comfortable to have. Yeah, problem is holiday punch. I just didn't run into any people up to now, which you might also consider to be a lucky thing. Yeah, at the moment we are not that much in need for fishing. Do I really want to carry the fishing rod around with me all the time? Maybe just take the lure and drop the fishing rod, and keep in mind that we can craft an improvised fishing rod just any moment. We have rope, so I think we are gonna do it like that and take the repeater with us. Yeah, exactly. So when you feel that you're perfectly well equipped and doing a perfect job in survival, then it might well happen that you just get shot. That's the typical DayZ approach to death, yeah. And so I'm pretty surprised that there are still so many people who like to play that game. Because you really have to be a good loser, because you definitely lose always, sooner or later. Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite. I've been playing this game since, almost, I think, 10 years. When the mod came out, I spotted the mod on YouTube, watched some streams or some YouTube videos, and I was so fascinated by the mod that, that was actually the reason why I bought the game, Arma 2, so that I could actually play in the mod. I think it is, yeah. I think it is. To me, it feels really the best. Maybe it doesn't have the perfect graphics engine or something, but it's... Let's see if we have to swim. Maybe we just get wet trousers, we'll see. But I love the atmosphere of the game, and everything feels so vivid. The swaying trees, the colors. I really love it. Let's check that boat and let's see. Wet. Okay, the trousers are soaked again. And but the stuff that we have up, boots of course. But the trousers, let's briefly wring our trousers. Hey, yes, Project Zombo, it is great with all the mechanisms that are implemented in the game. And there is a demo version available of a game, which is has the aim of being Project Zomboid in 3D in first person. The name is, let me briefly check, something with a V. Vein, yeah. So I would recommend it. It's for free. The demo is for free at the moment. It's called Vein. Yes. Is it? Is it? I mean, it was a demo. Did they actually switch to early access? That would be nice. So I haven't been trying it for a while, but I definitely will. So for some reason I had the feeling it didn't play as smooth as DayZ, but they were really starting to implement all these mechanisms like you have them in Project Zomboid. Yes, humanity, right? Paul, is it what you mean? So it's not humanity, but humanity with a Z in the end, which is also pretty much, yeah, trying to imitate Project Zomboid, although I think they are still far away from having all these wonderful features like in Project Zomboid. But in terms of graphics, I think Humanity is doing better because due to the engine that they use in Project Zomboid, they can't rotate the camera, which is now and then pretty ugly, and that's a major difference, that in Humanity you could actually rotate the camera. Surrounded, I've been watching it, but I've never played it by myself. But yeah, I think Surrounded is more like with a very basic comic-like graphics, right? Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's like in DayZ, you really now and then, or pretty often, you find gear and stuff and equipment where you really wonder what that should be good for, and you would never pick it up. But still, it makes the whole world feel much more alive. Yeah, DayZ Tarkov mix, yeah. But yeah, Road to Vostok, that sounded pretty tough. So, and I might have mentioned already that Escape from Tarkov is a beautiful game in my opinion, but yeah, just too tough for me. So at the moment I don't feel an urge to actually try Vostok, because I guess it would stress and strain me just like Tarkov. B41? B42? What's that? Is it just an abbreviation that I do not recognize? Doesn't ring a bell. Doesn't ring a bell. So what do we have here? Yeah, okay, that's the military area up there. So this part of the map, it looks and feels very familiar. I just can't really pin down where I am on the map at the moment. Ah, okay. All right. Yeah. Now I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah. Having NPCs in the game, that would be great. And I mean, kind of NPCs which might not necessarily be hostile, but that you might even have friendly NPCs. In Humanity, they implemented NPCs from the very beginning, and I think it is actually like that. You might encounter hostile as well as neutral NPCs there. I'm still wondering. So where is this relatively remote military base? Survivalist. Oh yeah, hey, yes. This is with this very basic graphics. I played that for a while. There's also a Survivalist 2, a follow-up. But I didn't play this Survivalist 2. But Survivalist 1 I played a little bit. It is with a nice storyline, but pretty tough. Quite like it. It should be pretty cheap. I would recommend everybody to try it. Yeah. Yeah, it's really kind of a role-play game with a storyline, yeah. Invisible Strain, yeah, that's the name. But I'm so kind of confused that I just can't figure out. Or am I only here? Really can't believe that. Maybe here? No. Nah, come on. Let's forget about the map. State of Decay. I never played that, to be honest. I stay down here at the beach without running across the stones, because stones instantly ruin or quickly ruin your shoes. So no running across stones, might just finish off my shoes. Yeah, I heard a lot about it, but yeah, I mean, somehow there are so many games around, so you have to kind of focus and never put the focus on that one. Although, might be pretty good. Zombie DLC for Red Dead Redemption 2, yeah. Yeah, Red Dead Redemption 2, that's a wonderful game. I love to play it, but it's so large and complex that, yeah, you can sink so many hours into that one. It's really a time sink. And yeah, I would really dive into that one, but if I would, I wouldn't have any time to do other games like this one here. well, should we go for the military base up there? I mean, our armament is pretty basic. Really don't know if it is worthwhile or makes sense. Maybe a bit too risky. Oh yeah, the wolves. So fingers pressed that they leave us alone. Ah, nice. A hip pack. And with my favorite melee weapon, so I'm gonna drop that one here. This weird meat tenderizer, it was badly damaged anyway. Now let's do a little bit of rearrangement. Of our inventory, so this gives us some margin again. Crosswind. Okay, like I have to check that. I'm not sure if I had heard of the crosswind. I think not. Would be, yeah, sounds good. What I'm looking for is a game which is called just Ahoy. But I think they're still pretty early in the development. And it's this kind of game where you never can be sure if they actually finally bring it down to the market. And yeah, they say that they really do some kind of Age of Sail simulation of large ships. Okay, anything there? A pan, come on. Nothing I need. I don't know, I think if I carry on a bit towards that direction, there should come up a few more buildings, if I remember right. Yeah. And you see, I just couldn't locate myself onto the map, but still I do have this kind of gut feeling orientation around here, because I have been here many times. But I think it's growing. They are still working. You have to say he is still working on the map, definitely. Zombie there, yes. He's still, oh. He's still working on the map, and I think when I was last playing and last passed this spot here, that was much less buildings. Pretty sure. And I need to be careful because there are plenty of zombies around. A battery, okay, that's nice. That was what I was hoping for. So now we could actually operate the GPS, hopefully. Maybe try to sneak, not to attract all these zombies around there. I would like to form bundles around this house. Nothing here. Okay, there we hear the zombies. Luckily, no gate crushers on these servers. So now, let's see. I think it is ages if ever, that I operated a GPS receiver. Switch it on. So now there we have the numbers, and what if we operate the map? Do we get it at some position on the map, or how does it work? Probably not. I mean, not on this hardcore thing. Okay, it says 068092. Is this what the GPS receiver tells us? Okay, yes, it does. And we get the direction also. Oh no. So it's 9. It's a 9. And it's a 6. So that says that we are somewhere here. Okay. A bit weird, but nine, 6. Okay. 2 and 8. 9, 2. 6, 8. So are we somewhere here? That would mean that to the left of us there would be a... Okay, is it all these buildings here? Would mean that we are pretty close to a large town. Well, however, switch off the GPS receiver, stow it away. Hey, that's a good question. That's really a good question, which I couldn't answer, and I never had it discussed, or never saw it discussed, heard it discussed in any streams that I was watching. I just can't tell. I guess it would, but I'm not sure. Pretty bad weather, but the good thing is the zombies don't hear us in the rain. Yes, so maybe this is just a place where we are. Yep, so we got it. Thanks to the GPS receiver, now we know roughly where we are. So let's start looting a bit. We completely used up our food resources, didn't we? Shoes. They are damaged. I don't know, maybe we should switch from the badly damaged hiking boots. Flip-flops, worst insulation. I don't know what's better. Worn flip-flops or damaged whatsoever sneakers. So that threatening noise is definitely not that threatening. It's the noise of stags or deer. It's no bear, is it? Or is it a bear? Hey, come on, no. I haven't been playing for so long that I'm not sure anymore whether this sound And now I think it's a stag. Can you hear it in the stream? What would you say? It's deer, right? Yeah, that's what I think. Deer or stag, yeah. Hey, hey, Popsy, oh, nice to have you in. Haha. And Freshzy, okay, so you came in with Popsy. It's a pleasure to have you. Hey, hey, thanks very much for the raid. That's very much appreciated. Oh, wow, 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 and thanks for the follow. Yeah, nice to have you in. So, Freshzy, I think you were playing before, weren't you? I'm not quite sure if you were streaming when I started, when I got to my computer. And so, hey, Freshzy, how are you doing? So, lately I'm back to my old love, DayZ, a little bit often, more often than I did in the past. Oh, that's so noisy. Could I kill that guy? What? Must be right next to the building. Let's see if I can give it a headshot. I fear that the noise of the door drove off the deer. Hey, by the way, Popsy and Freshzy, we were just thinking about whether suppressors reduce damage. Actually, it must be right around the corner. Or maybe it's bugged on the roof. I think up to now I never... Okay, there it goes. It was a wild boar, right? It was a wild boar, but... Yeah, sorry that I didn't get it. Yes, exactly. This is WILDLANDZ Deer Isle, yeah. Yeah, that's great. That's great. I really love the WILDLANDZ set, the WILDLANDZ service set, and I particularly love Deer Isle. That's, well, I still love Generous. It's also a wonderful map, but Deer Isle is, I mean, at least as great, and it's so wonderful for exploration. Rick and Morty, thank you very much for the follow. So great. I guess you also came in with Popsy. That's nice. Very much appreciated. Yeah, you see, I'm just a small streamer, but I'm always so happy if people kind of give me this little feedback. Just watching the stream, or even giving me a raid. That's so nice. Or giving me a follow. That's wonderful. Great, great. So I think you guys probably are all from the US or Canada, right? If I look at the time here around in Europe, it's so late that maybe most people would already have been gone to bed. I mean, for you, Freshzy, I know you're from the US. And my guess would be that you are the guys at that time, anybody being around. Let me see. Around here, it's not that late. It's not as late as I thought. It's only 1 o'clock. Okay, so you're from Norway, Popsy. Yeah. Yeah, great. So we have the same time, so at your place it's also 1 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah, I had been to Norway, not this year, but last year actually. We went to Sweden and did some nice hiking holiday there. And finally I found an old school friend who is living in Oslo. And we paid him a spontaneous visit, spending something like 2 or 3 days in Oslo, which is a wonderful town. I've been there before many years ago, and so it was a wonderful return. Yeah, so I'm playing since something like almost 1.5 hours, and this is the second stream that I do with this live. I started it something like, hey, come on. Oh, fuck, I thought that I had a zombie in here, trapped in here. It's so noisy. That scared me. It still does scare me after all these years. Yeah, I started this stream something like 3 days ago. Yeah, FreshZ, you joined me also back then. And yeah, so I'm not doing too bad. But actually, I don't know if you had been watching or if you remember that on my last stream I had really some weird incidents. So I was fighting an officer close to a military base, and he was incredible. So that was actually something that I wanted to ask FreshZ, that I wanted to ask you, because I think you are pretty much of an expert on these servers here, on the WILDLANDZ servers. And yeah, this guy, I hit him and hit him and hit him. I hit him on the head something like 20 times and just nothing happened. And then, well, he landed several blows on me. I got 2 cuts and was then got a few steps away and drew my P1 and fired the whole magazine. So plus the 1 round in the barrel, I fired 9 rounds into the torso of that zombie, and I think even 1 into the head, and it just didn't die. And I thought that was it, and then I just started further clubbing that zombie. And after something like 3, 4, 5 more hits, he actually died. So he took so much damage. So on the one hand, I thought it was a bug, but if it was a bug, I would have expected him to be indestructible and that he would kill me. But finally, I was actually. Yeah, well, it was military gear. And it might be that it was more kind of black military gear. I would have to check in the stream. It was not my last stream, but the stream, well, actually, the stream I had done 3 streams. So the last stream, which I did in DayZ, that was on another server, but the stream before. So something like 2 DayZ streams before dark. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And he was wearing some kind of a uniform with some remarkable badge on it, which I haven't seen before. Hey, and well, it was not just more hard to fight, it was almost, yeah, invincible. Imagine I fired 9 9mm rounds into its torso and did hit it onto the head for, I don't know, 30 times or something, and only then the guy died. If you could say dying for a zombie, or if you should better say he stopped moving. That was really incredible. To be honest, I don't quite remember, but I think the loot was not particularly remarkable. It was just complete lucky chance that I survived that one. And I was down when I finally got the opportunity to bandage myself. I was completely down to red blinking in terms of blood. And only just in this stream now, maybe half an hour ago, I finally regained complete blood. A Colt magazine with 45 rounds. I don't know, should I? I do have the P1, which is a fine gun. I have a P1 with full mag. And yeah, well, I mean, as long as we don't need the inventory space, let's pick it up. There is something. Oh no, that was just DayZ imagination. And something in here? No. I pretty much like this kind of. Now I have a hip pack and a canvas bag, and in total this gives me an enormous carrying capacity. I also have the vest, so this is wonderful. I have a very low visual cross section actually, so looking like that makes me rather hard to be spotted actually. Shall we check that one? Yep, come on. Alright, Popsy. By the way, now that you mention it, I have to be AFK for 1 minute just as well, so please excuse me for 1 minute. Be right back just as well. So let's hope that we don't get raided here by any bunch of zombies. Alright guys, here I am again. Thanks for your patience. And luckily, we are still alive. Well, while we are here, let's check the boat. But on this server, there seems to be a rather low probability that... Ah, see! This is what we saw from the other side. Interesting. It's these wrecks out there, alright. Okay, now we are here, probably. Somehow. So, if I walk around that tip, we are gonna end up there, and this is good, so let's get there. That's a plan. That's a plan. Sounds like a plan. Okay. There is this already the bridge? Let's see, what direction am I looking towards? So is it at your place? So I am looking due north. Yeah, maybe that's the bridge that I am looking at. And maybe that's this island that I'm looking at. So I am somewhere here. Yeah, so I already went further. Well, let's get back and check these buildings. Yeah, I think we had a pretty okayish day today. It was mainly indoors working, so I'm just not sure, to be honest, what the weather actually was today outside. But it's definitely getting colder and colder. What's there? A belt? Don't need it because that is already filled up by the pack. So cheers guys, got me a little drink. Some little late night drink. Nice. Skate sneakers, medium insulation. Hey, I don't know, but they are better for sure than these guys and taking less space. Alright, so let's do it at least like that. Matches? No, it's not matches, it's buckshots. So that's it. Good find. Yeah, if I start bleeding, it might be due to the fact that my shoes actually got ruined. I just have to make sure now that I don't run in circles. Sweater, nope, don't need that one. A poncho, nah, come on. Ah, nice. Sounds good. That sounds good. So, as for that, I am pretty tough tonight and not having any late night snack. What do we have here? Do I have that bottle? I mean, let's empty the content because it wouldn't be in the shape to drink. Probably tainted water, but let's pick it up maybe. If we run into a well, it would be nice to have that one. Question is if there is a well somewhere around. That's the problem on Deer Isle. The further north you get, the less wells you actually run into. That's always a problem on Deer Isle. To get sufficient water supply. Oh, nice, a Zuin kit. That is something that I was waiting for since long. So let's put ourselves down here and do some Zuin. Let's see what needs Zuin up, patching up the most. Well, I'm not that bad off with the stuff, and while I can't patch up the hiking boots with an ordinary Zuin kit, I would need a leather Zuin kit, so what could we do? Patching up the balaclava. Could I patch up these sneakers maybe with an ordinary Zuin kit? No, of course not. And the hip pack, probably also. Ah, nice, I can patch up the hip pack. Wouldn't have expected that. So the rest is fine. Well, let's try it, but for sure not yet. So we have a little bit of remaining Zuin kit, just in case. So that was a good find. Still, what we need is water. Yeah, it's great. It's a pleasure to have all of you guys in the stream. That's really wonderful. I mean, I never was a big streamer, particularly not in DayZ, so we have a pretty nice little community in U-Boat. But in DayZ, I always had the impression that there are just too many streamers around, and that it's for a small streamer like me, it would be barely imaginable to have more than something like 3 people watching at a time. So I am very, very happy to have all of you in this stream. That's really great. Well, I just take a look at the YouTube stream. It's not that well visited, obviously. Yeah, but well, in principle, I regard myself to be a Twitch streamer. And Graveyard Mummy, yeah. They got you, so I mean, they killed you, or... I mean, if you're in bad luck, 2 zombies could already become difficult. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's it. Usually you wouldn't want to use a gun. Yeah, that's the thing. 1 single zombie is really no match. 2 is handleable, but if things go bad, already 2 might become tricky, and if you finally run into more than 2 zombies at a time, then you're really in trouble if you can't hide away somewhere, get into a building or jump onto a car, and even there it's quite different. Lately I was playing on a server, and I'm pretty sure that zombies were actually climbing the cars, so you weren't safe up on a car, and I think that's nothing which is vanilla, or at least in the past it wasn't vanilla. Yeah, actually that's a bit of my problem, that recently well, not recently, since years I'm not playing vanilla, but only modded servers, so I'm never quite sure what vanilla actually is, and which features are vanilla and which ones are are mods. Curiosity kills the cat, yeah. So let's check upstairs. Years ago you always found useful stuff up in these buildings. Nowadays you usually find nothing, or well, some useless fishing boots. Alright, another boat, and this is the bridge that I want to take on to that other peninsula. Nothing in here. Hey guys, yeah, just saw the numbers of watches going up again a bit, so welcome guys, how are you? Great to have you in. Nothing here. Hey, this place looks, I don't know, this looks looted, doesn't it? Nothing but a more or less useless camp. Building up there, so it's hidden in the trees. So in this kind of surrounding I'm always afraid that I might run into a bunch of zombies in the woods, and I just haven't spotted them, and suddenly being surrounded by something like 2 or 3 zombies at a time, like something that might just have happened to you, Paul, in a different setting. Here we are, sweater, but in bad condition. So although I should be pretty wet after that rain, I'm still at good temperature, so my clothing is alright, and on the other hand I think this map is relatively warm. Nah, not really. So some kind of culture Not quite. I'm pretty familiar with Bannerlord. I would boast that. But I'm playing the unmodded Iron Age, okay? Pre-Roman, yeah. So for pre-Roman, I would think of the Celts, Celtic culture, and Brennus. If anybody remembers, there was a Celtic raid towards Italy before the Romans really became great, and these Celtics, they were laying siege. This is cooler, isn't it? Ah, no, come on. They were laying siege to Rome and finally were victorious, and the Romans kind of, yeah, how would you call it? They capitulated. Don't know the word. They gave up. Let me put it like that. And then there is this legend that they decided that they had to get this and that weight of gold from the Romans so that they would leave them and wouldn't sack the city, wouldn't completely destroy the city. But yeah, then, well, they had this kind of scales, and finally when the scales was even up, then this guy, this Celtic chieftain, he additionally threw his sword into the scales, and then of course it shifted again, and the Romans had to put in more gold, and the Romans said, hey, that was not what we agreed upon. And then he said something like, well, you lost, so I define the conditions, bring us the gold. Yeah, and then there was this bottle in the battle in the Teutoburger Wald, yeah. But this is medium insulation, medium worn. Come on, let's stick to this. Yeah, quite impressive stories from back then. What I find most impressive about the Romans actually is that they ruled all the known world back at that time, and they just had a shitty numbering system. If you compare it to our decimal system today, it's really, yeah. Hey, exactly. Varus, give me back my allegiance. That's what the boss finally said, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's the story. Quite amazing about tactics, isn't it? Hey, am I running in circles? Have I been here? I have, right? No, probably not. It just looks like almost the same. Oh, somebody must have been here. No, I'm pretty sure that I haven't been here. Yep. Yeah, I mean, their tactics, the equipment, and this kind of standardization of the weaponry that they had. This short sword, which was perfect for, well, close quarters melee. And then this pilum, this throwing spear, that kind of javelin, heavy javelin that they kind of throw through over something like 7 meters only, but which had some terrible impact into the enemy. Yeah, so that's why I love to play Bannerlord. Because in these battles you really get this kind of feeling. To revive what might have been going on. Of course, Bannerlord is something like 800 years at least after the Roman Empire. Oh, well, let's say, I think it's actually after the collapse. Something like 100 years after the collapse of the Roman Empire. That is what that whole thing is situated. In this, yeah. Oh, that always scares me. The thunder. Okay, wow, what is this? Why do we have all these zombies there? In the rain, they just shouldn't recognize me. Is there? Oh shit. Oh, guy. Good that this guy made himself audible. Loads of zombies around here in the something like middle of nowhere. Okay, weird. Thought that must have been a head hit. That was. Okay, I think I do have. A jam. What's the condition of the gun? It's damaged. Okay, that's why. There is some probability to get a gun jam. So where did it vanish to? Too many zombies around here, but let's kill them one by one. And I'm missing one of them. There's this one, and I'm not quite sure. I do have the gut feeling that there is one more, but that one I might finally be able to kill by hand. Okay. Do I need 2 rounds in the rain? Because the rain kind of breaks down the speed of bullets. Would be pretty weird. So now let's give them guys a check. If I find anything useful with them. An axe, splitting axe. Ah, come on, that's just taking too much inventory space. But that's something good. Where to put it? Can't afford. So there we have it. Don't want to hang around here for too long, because sooner or later these zombies might respawn. So where was this one zombie? Where did I shoot it? Okay, let's get going. Oh, did you see that lightning strike? Okay, now it's the opposite. Yeah, I really have shitty weather now. Yeah, you see, I'm getting pretty cold by now. It was already starting to shiver. No. Oh well. Maybe these shoes are better than these. What is the... Yeah, let's do it like that. And let's see that we get into that building there, get some cover. And then reload the gun. That was quite a lot of rounds. I think I did headshots. Not everyone might have met, but I think there was the situation that it took me 2 rounds, 2 hits, 2 head hits to kill them. Maybe the distance. Yeah, I think that's really the case, right? If you fire from further distance, the impact on the target is reduced, and that was then at the limit of the firing distance of that pea shooter. Actually, rubber slugs. Nah, come on. I'm not even picking them up. And now let's take a look. Let's first see that we get our stuff dry and ring our gear. Let's take a look. Must be somewhere over there, but yeah, it's pretty poor visibility. Sounds like they're coming straight for us at the moment. Oh, it passed by. Ah, there it is. Not too far away. That's the US. Really, isn't it? Just barely visible up there. In the clouds. Yeah, and out of view. There it crashed. Yeah, that's it. That's the similar thing, the similarities between U-Boat, the other game that I used to stream, and DayZ. On first glimpse, they are pretty different, the one being a submarine simulation and the other being a survival game, but sometimes I say that U-Boat is some kind of a marine survival game, having implemented also quite a bit of detail. And it's like this guy here is said to be a hiking simulator by some people. Also for U-boat, it is like you have to cross wide stretches of sea in a completely open world. So yeah, you can't ring gloves. Still not, can you? Yeah. So there we are, wet. And yeah, at the moment we are still wide in terms of drink and food, but sooner or later we're gonna need... Okay, well, come on, we found that can of spaghetti with that zombie. We have a can opener, so why not having it right now? Yeah, yummy. Cold canned spaghetti. Must be luxury in an apocalypse setting. Yeah, on these servers and on these mods, you actually have the empty stuff left. I'm just not sure what it is good for. I think it's just feeling more realistic, like when you have people moving around and then you run into the rubbish of other people. That just increases the immersion. I think that's the idea. By the way, we are wide again in terms of temperature, but as soon as I step out, I will get wet again. Okay, so you also ran into one of these hardcore zombies. Okay, signal pistol. No, if it had a round, I would just fire it for fun. Let's follow the coast for now. Hiding in the woods. Yep. Ah, yeah. I might remember that one. These teddy bears. Rags. Ah, come on. I don't have the space to carry around meaningless rags. Come on, let's not take the straight way, but maybe first get up onto that hill so that we might have a nice view from an elevated position onto this, what is it? Summer camp. Really want to check that first before going straight in. I do have a rifle, the repeater, but I don't have any ammo yet for that one. Okay, somebody did some fortification there. Yeah, nevertheless, get up. And from up there we should get some nice view down there. Yeah. Oh, the guy was pretty hectic and nervous, and was afraid that you might not have been alone. It also happens sometimes that people might be pretty nervous while looting and just grab something quickly and then move on. And that might really increase your probability of survival. If you are swift about that. So at the moment, just don't see any Zs down there. So let's get down and check these buildings. We might even have an eye on a pump, a well. Come on, that would be so... a well would be very welcomed. But yeah, no, I don't see any. But this village pretty much looks like it should have a well somewhere. Maybe I should really search it thoroughly, because yeah, here so far in the north of Deer Isle archipelago, it's pretty hard to find fresh water actually. By the way, let's do one little bit of cheating and check in the launcher how many people are actually on the server. Well, not many. Not many. And yeah, that's the problem. The Wildlands servers are wonderful, but usually not highly frequented. But nevertheless, I love them, and particularly Deer Isle is a wonderful exploration map. So it's 4 o'clock in game. So we still have plenty of time for daylight. Definitely more than we are gonna use. Because sooner or later I'm gonna have to call it a day. I have to get up tomorrow at maybe something like 7 o'clock. Latest 7 o'clock. Which already now limits my duration of sleep more than is reasonable. But yeah, it's so wonderful to continue the stream, particularly with all of you guys watching. What do we have here? A hatchet. Of course, this hatchet thingy is pretty nice. Maybe I would like it better than the sickle. I don't know. But I do have the sickle. And I do have these two badly worn things. So if I drop them and take the worn hatchet, that might be a good. But the hatchet is, yeah, it takes so much inventory space. What can I do about that? Come on, no. Let's not do that. So few loot around here. But yeah, it's alright. It's the apocalypse. What is this? Some shoes. Dress shoes, okay. Who needs dress shoes in an apocalypse? But that's what I meant. That's pretty nice, given all this such a realistic flavor that you really run into stuff which you would never use, but it's still there. Useless stuff, useful stuff, just everything. I find it a bit weird that there is really just nothing. A bolt, and that's a decent, 2 decent bolts. They're damaged, but okay, but still they are better than my improvised ones. So if I unload my crossbow, I don't know, maybe better do it like that. Let's drop this one. That's these new buildings where you usually don't find anything useful. Yeah, you always find something, but the question is whether it's useful or not. Bike helmet. What about these 3080? If you have the proper gun, of course, these 3080. Let's drop this one and let's take 3080. They're damaged, but if I got a proper sniper gun or hunting gun, the 3080 is really awesome. I think this is the type of ammo with the most impact in the game. At least my guess. Alright, what is this? But do I have this ammo? I think not. Yeah, come on, not having that ammo, I think I'm not gonna pick up that gun. Yeah, let's just drop it. And it's damaged. So, relatively easy choice not to take it with me. Food. So let's peel the potato with the badly damaged staying knife. Let's see if it gets finally ruined by peeling a potato. Left. I wonder what happens if you barbecue a unpeeled potato. think I didn't check this one. I think the others I did check. The jeans. It's soaked. Yeah, it was raining all the time and I didn't wring my gear since then. This one being drenched. And there we are. And finally, balaclava. There we are. And we are white again in terms of temperature. Not much to loot here. So let's carry on. I remember that place. Quite some time ago I have been looting here. But at that time I really wasn't aware about my whereabouts. Ooh, that's important. That's good to have. Additional bandages. Amazing that there is this good loot in this place. I wouldn't have expected that. Might even have left it out for looting. Good that I didn't. On we go. Checking all these buildings up here. The door's wide ajar. Makes me a bit nervous to see that. Nothing. Yeah, loot is pretty rare, but that's good. I like it. I like servers with rare loot. Nothing. No, this guy. A can opener in good condition, so let's change it and drop the badly damaged can opener. Oh well. That is probably gas mortar. But I think it was far enough away that I don't have to worry. Okay, that's a wonderfully large backpack, but I would never like it because of its color and because of its enormous size. You would be so well visible. Now, another potato, let's peel it. And let's have it. So guys, I'm just doing this for the server where we start in 2 minutes, okay? So guys, I'm just doing this for fun. I'm an aficionado DayZ player and an aficionado streamer. And still, of course, I always love to get some feedback, so if you like this stream, don't hesitate to give me a follow. That would be so nice. But yeah, don't feel pushed. I'm just perfectly happy if you just watch. Getting a follow finally puts the cream onto it, to put it like that. Yeah, so I see that the server is just about to go down, to restart. And that's a good point for me to go to bed. It's 2 o'clock around here at night. So, yeah, more than overdue to get to bed. Paul, yeah, good night. Yeah, same for me. It was a pleasure to have you in. Always nice to have a little chat with you and the guys. So, not quite sure who is still in. Popsy, if you are still in, thanks for the raid. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's see. I think I'm going to continue that one tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I can do a little bit more streaming. Well, it was 2.5 hours. That's fine. Maybe tomorrow I can do a little bit longer streaming. Thank you guys for being in, and have a good night or whatever time of the day is coming up for you. See you guys.